and I will use it as a base, that the religion has to be source of connection to humanity, not as a tool of disconnect, which we experienced in the 20th century's global and regional politics, led by the Western allies and their alliances and the Western interests, where religion was instrumentalized in ways that deepen divides rather than healing them. So the major reason, this is the main thesis, though I will be talking on the 4 points of Maulana and Hazrat Sultan Bahu, the analogies that how in those 4 points they have the similar thought. I'll just explain through the recitations, but my thesis is that the major reason everybody should understand in the 20th century, the Euro-Western political strategies were targeted to use the religion as a political ploy against the threat of communism, not just Islam. In Afghan jihad, we were abused. We know Afghan jihad, Islam was used, Islamic versions were used, but before that, long before that, recall the first time when United States of America was entering the Middle East through the Lebanon and Beirut. And the first time they created crisis, the fear of communism and anti-capitalism thought and ideas. But they created crisis between Maronite Christians and Muslims. They didn't say this, but they created religious war, because religious is a very sentimental thing and people can do anything for their religion. So knowing that, they used it. First time in 1959, every part of the world knew that in Beirut there was no crisis, but they feared that Muslim will be supported by communists. They didn't want that. 1963, my first novel that is published, and the second is underway, my first novel, in which I have covered 21st century Pakistan and 20th century Vietnam. Vietnam War was created by the Western allies led by United States of America. United States supported DM government, created first time religious crisis between Catholics and Buddhists. This was the Vietnam War's beginning. We need to understand the Western political ploys, because religion, you can't imagine Buddhists can kill. But of course, when you are killing, then it has to be reciprocated. And similarly, I grew up in Afghan jihad, and maybe I will write, second novel I'm writing on the Middle Eastern crisis, and maybe third novel I will write on my own region, that how my childhood was badly affected by Afghan jihad. So the holy war, it has to be responded. The way Islam has been interpreted, this is my journey. I was studying anthropology in the United Kingdom, Sussex University, and there I suddenly decided to turn my thesis into political anthropology and study how jihad was globalized, and I worked on that. So, this is our social, political, academic, and all spiritual responsibility to do that. So what happened? So throughout the 20th century, we see the religious crisis. Religion was used, instrumentalized. So it has drastically reshaped moral, social, political, and cultural fabric of Vietnam, of the entire Middle East, of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Russia, and all the regions now. When you're creating jihad at one place and you are creating the texts through the Nebraska University, then the message is spread across the globe. You can't control it.